Same with Slav's understanding English. I think it just went over his head. Like he doesn't understand that Trump is actually not serious when he said that he's dressed up. Oh, thank you for that link. You're a godsend because there's only so much things a man can do at once.
I know, right? Multiple fucking keyboards and hands.
Yeah. So why are we tuning into?
Well, Michaél Martin has been interviewed on RTE. He's the main guest on tonight's Late Show. So as always, anytime we go anywhere near RTE, we have to issue a trigger warning. So if you have any sharp objects, medications around the house, you might want to get rid of them now. Watching RTE is not good for one's mental health. It may lead
especially not the Late Show these days.
Yeah, like so it's hard. Like so, we generally stay away from it. But in preparation for his trip to the States, we thought it might be a nice idea to drop in. We can't imagine it's going to be questioned at all, but let's listen and see what's happening anyway.
For the first 440, we need more bigger schemes of that kind. But above all, and when I came in, I mean, there's a lot of noise around Dáil and all of that, but I've been focusing on housing with cabinet ministers, with officials. I'm still at it. We cleared the 450 million additional money for the units last week. There's too much delay within the system and there's too much bureaucracy around it.
But just listening to you, you're talking as if you are a Taoiseach who has just arrived.
Thank you.
Thank you. People are sitting at home tonight. People are maybe sitting with their parents and don't want to be sitting in their parents' house.
Correct.
And all of this doesn't seem to be helping.
Well, first of all, before we came in, we were doing less than 20,000 a year.
I understand
now
that.
Now we're doing 30,000 plus, right? That's not enough.
I know, but the baseline you're coming from was very, very low.
Like, we need to get to 50,000 a year. I'm interested in the how of getting to 50,000 a year, and I'm interested in talking to opposition, to everybody with concrete ideas as to how to do that. And I think we have to do social, affordable, and we have to.
This is all shite he's talking. Yeah. Can we appreciate what's actually happening here?
Like a question has been asked.
Yes, a politician is being challenged on RTE.
I'm not lending to the degree that they should.
It is a new timeline. It's definitely a new timeline.
Yeah, man. Something weird happened some time ago, not long ago.
Didn't we just join CERN? Or we're in the door at CERN? Maybe they switched it on when we weren't looking.
I know, right?
Finance involved than we currently have.
Okay. It's been a bumpy start to the Dáil. It looks like you have bent over backwards to give regional independence speaking rights. Why was that?
Since I've come into Dáil, everybody has had speaking rights. And I'm a bit taken back by what I consider to be a very disproportionate response to the proposal that's on the table. Essentially, for the regional independence, or independents, and government TDs as well, that they get 8 minutes on a Wednesday and 8 minutes on a Thursday to ask the Taoiseach of the day. That's to be shared among 60 TDs. So probably a government TD might get once a year opportunity to ask the Taoiseach of the day. That's what we're arguing about, which is crazy.
Well, I think. It's maybe what you're arguing about, but it doesn't seem to be what other people are arguing about. Other people seem to find it difficult to get their heads around the fact that somebody who was part of the programme for government then wants to have the speaking rights for the opposition.
I was part of a programme for government in 2016 as leader of the opposition, the largest opposition party in the confidence and supply deal on Brexit. Fianna Fáil actually had an influence in negotiation of that programme for government. We actually negotiated every budget. We said to Michaél and the independents at the time who formed that government, we want 2/3 on public services and one on tax.
Come on, it started off with fucking...
asked for career guidance counsellors to be...
He's such shit.
That we inserted. No one said to us at the time, by the way, you can't be the leader of the opposition.
You know, a jet fighter, right? It goes through the sky, and then missiles get launched at it, and then they just release a bunch of random fucking duds, like quasi missiles behind them, so that the air defense can't get to it. This is what he's doing. He's a master at it.
Yeah, flak everywhere.
And they've never lost speaking rights.
Yeah. I'm just having a fantasy, a Joker fantasy, where Paddy just pulls out a Glock or something and just executes.
You get what you deserve.
Boom. Or a hammer or something. Like, come on, for fuck's sake, we're talking Northern Irish people were better than this. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, take out the balaclava and the pipe
The only
bomb.
group that came forward was the regional independent group: Sean Kenny, Marion Harkin, Gillian O'Toole, Barry Heenahan, Kevin Boxer-Morden, and Noel Grealish, and Michael Lowry. So, and Michael Healy-Rae and Danny Healy-Rae wanted to come in.
Yes.
The other independent Ireland group wanted us to change climate policy and roll back on climate policy. We weren't prepared to do that. There's no dilution of our policy on climate. So they were the only group that said from day one, we want to facilitate you forming a government. We didn't have the numbers. Ivana Patrick would have said to me, the leader of the Labour Party said to me, look, the numbers aren't right for us. We were about 2 short, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, so they felt they wouldn't have the leverage. They probably were also watching the Social Democrats, and there's a competition between the two on that space. So that is the reality of it. And could I just make, like, you have to form a government after the general
I
election,
do understand
you
you
know?
have to form a government, but previously, you said that Michael Lowry was a rogue politician. You said that he should resign from the Dáil. I mean, what has changed for you to be able to make a compromise and help him form a government with you this time around?
Well, I think the regional independent group are helping us to form a government.
Yes.
And I think, and to Sean Kenny.
Everybody would say he's the leader of that group.
But Sean Kenny, we deal with, because Sean is the minister in the cabinet table with Noel Grealish. The two of them are at the cabinet table. The people of Tipperary has elected him in every election since then. I'm in a position where I have an obligation to form a government. In my view, no one else was coming to the table to form a government. We did it on policy. I think it's a good programme for government. I think the country needs a programme for government. And needs a government, that can last 5 years. And I've been very committed to 5-year governments since earlier experiences in the past, when we had governments maybe every 3 years. I can recall as a student in the late 80s, there were 3 governments in 18 months. And that's not good for the country.
No, it's not good for the country.
During Brexit, for example, I facilitated a government.
Oh, come on, Paddy, grow a pair of balls. Fucking hell.
Most people appreciated the fact that
started strong,
Brexit,
but then
which was a threat to the country,
I think
we had a stable
Michaél
government.
just
That's what I've been
zapped
doing
the life out
since
of
I
him.
became a leader of
Yeah.
Fianna Fáil. At least I have facilitated stability in the Dáil over the last 10 to 15 years.
If you turn on your TV and you're looking at the chamber at the moment, there doesn't seem to be a lot of
Anyone there?
stability. You've got Corley telling you that you're behaving like a child. You've got opposition saying you're frothing with rage, and Petchy Taoiseach and all of these things. What is it about this Dáil that's making you lose your cool?
Oh, I'm not losing my cool at all. It's serious. Don't buy everything you hear.
Well, what about the?
I tell you, there's 2 things. I mean, a lot of noise in the Dáil. And I think, I'll be honest with you, Sinn Féin
It's
said, for example,
theatre,
before us,
Paddy, is what he's
after the
telling you.
election, they were going to do opposition different. This Dáil will be different. It's going to be far more. I
Really?
think,
What are you
robust.
basing that
I think
claim
the
on?
opposition has made it
Exactly.
clear, Sinn Féin has made it clear it's going to be all
What
in.
are we? What are we? How is this benefiting us, Morgan?
It's not. I'm waiting for a question around Ukraine and
Yeah,
Zelensky. That's all I want to fucking hear. Like, I just want to hear
yeah.
how he
Where's
dances
the
around that one.
CC?
Like, yeah.
The English captions have disappeared.
All right. Subtitles gave up. Like, they're bored. Fuck this.
Yeah.
Like, get me out of here.
Just telling falsehoods or telling
that's-
untruths or telling
yeah,
lies.
exactly.
I mean, surely is that not?
No, but in the
I
Dáil
mean,
in English.
if I said
But
I had a senior All-Ireland medal, I mean, that's an untruth, but it would also make me.
Come on.
lie.
I want to hear
I
Zelensky,
said if I had a senior
immigration,
All-Ireland
not
medal,
fucking
that would sort of, it would be an
this
untruth, but it would also make me
softball
lie.
horseshit. People said you're acting a child. How about the reason they, what that was about, like the Garda vetting, and that was the big part, that we're now basically recruiting people into the guards without vetting them. And this cabbage had the audacity to say, well, what does vetting even mean?
Yeah. We have that clip, and we'll watch
Fucking
it
hell.
sometime tonight. That was just unhinged. Maybe he's not losing his cool, but he's being a piece of shit.
No.
And you know what? I'm warming up to this, Carla. She's, horses for courses. She's a school teacher. That's what I get from her. She's a fucking school teacher, and she's keeping the young ones in line.
Yeah, she's just a mammy. It's a fucking pain in the tits Irish mammy,
Yeah. That's it. Yeah,
Settle down, children. Settle down.
a mammy or a school teacher.
Yeah, the Irish Parliament's a fucking joke. Like, there's very rarely anybody there. There's no debate. It's fucking pathetic. Like, and this is the best of it. Like, so that's the biggest thing to happen in the Irish Parliament in 10 years is that somebody calls somebody a child, or it got a little bit animated. Even the fucking arguments are pathetic. Like, you know, it's all fucking second-rate pantomime, is what it is, really.
Yeah, it's funny at times, though. You know,
Ugh,
you know, you have to give them that. Well, what I don't get is, all right. I hold my hands up. Time. I really don't know who's in the fucking government and blah blah blah. I don't know. I don't care because it's not relevant. None of this is relevant. However, in the process of getting clips for tonight, this is maybe my fourth time watching Oireachtas TV, and I'm seeing them stand up, speak for a minute, and then the Taoiseach stands up and speaks for a minute. In response to that, oh, there he's off.
nice done. Well done, Paddy.
Well done, you fucking
Yeah.
cunt.
Uh,
Yeah, what a waste of fucking everyone's time.
yeah.
So I'm thinking, like, what is being facilitated here? There's no discussion of matters. It's just, hey, I have this concern, and then either the Taoiseach says blah 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 to avoid any kind of accountability, or he stands up and says, yeah, you know what, I'll look into that. What is this?
Yeah, it's nothing. Like, it's all, like I said, there is no actual real debate on anything. Nobody reads the fucking legislation. When there is a debate, there's like 4 people in the fucking chamber. You know, you've got
Yeah.
you know 4 opposition party TDs, the minister responsible, and maybe one other person from the government who, for whatever reason, just went in there. I don't know, maybe it's some fetish they have. They like to have a quick wank at the back of the fucking backbenches or something like that. But there's no debate at all, ever. And that's the opposition now, because their time to speak has been, you know, threatened to be reduced. They're withdrawing the pairing agreement, which I didn't know what the fuck that was, so I looked it up. So they have an agreement in the Dáil that if somebody is absent from the government benches, well, then the opposition decide to take one of their members away as well. So the vote's fair. So if fucking 2,
Huh?
yeah. So if there's 20 people from the government who are absent for whatever reason, they're away on official business, or they're opening up a supermarket in County Leitrim or something like that, well, then the opposition agree that, okay, well, because they're absent, we'll take away 20 of our guys. So the vote is fair. So again, we've no opposition in this fucking country. Like, it's all just grandstanding. Like, if there was any real opposition, every day of the week they would be on every fucking news channel imploring the people to come out on the fucking streets and march on Dáil and essentially take the fucking place over. And there's nothing. All they do is, it's all optics. So you look at them where they come out in unison, marching together out of the Dáil. It's like fucking take number 7. Where they're all in the line walking together, and then fucking fat cunt Mary Lou MacDonald makes a statement as if this is the worst thing that's ever happened to Irish democracy, that, oh, we don't get the same amount of time to speak anymore. Again, it's all a farce, but really, of all the things to get upset about, that's it. Given the chance to speak, you don't fucking use it. It's nonsense. Just fucking pure nonsense. And they don't give a flying fuck about the country. All they care about, okay, well, this is an opportunity to call a snap election, not for the good of the country. So they can get in there and be the ones in a position of power and do exactly the fucking same thing, if not fucking worse. Like, so yeah, if any of them had any decency, like, they fucking smuggle a gun into the Dáil and just fucking, blow their brains out live on fucking TV. That would get more people fucking interested in pop in Ireland. Like, it's just fucking, it's pathetic, really. What's this fucking weirdo? Is he still? Oh, he got elected, didn't he?
He's in what is it now? Environment? No. What is he on?
Did he get a ministerial position or not? He couldn't have.
Oh, no. Sorry, no. He's in the opposition now. Sorry, I'm losing track of who's in, who's out. But yeah, no, Green Party aren't in government anymore. Whew, thank God. Not that it makes that much of a difference, but this guy is fucking creepy. I don't want him in any kind of fucking cabinet position. But this is funny. In a you know, a completely unsurprising way. However, the main reason why I left this first part in is so that you get a good idea of just how fucking dull the Dáil is in general. And you don't get this idea that like it's exciting, dynamic, and things are happening, you know, when we get to the meat of this clip, right? So let's watch.
In your manifesto, Fine Gael promised it in their manifesto, and there's no reference to it in the programme for government. And that is part of the state taking.
So he's talking about education, right? You know, the post he just left.
That
Thank you,
greater
Deputy.
involvement
Time
in
is
the,
up.
in
Thank
the
you,
delivery.
Deputy. Thank you. Time is up. Just before Taoiseach starts, we have a minute's silence after the leaders' questions to commemorate Ukraine's invasion. Thank you, Taoiseach.
In terms of, to me,
I know, right? I
Oh,
know,
God.
right? And she didn't even say it right. She said the Ukraine's invasion.
Yeah.
Or maybe she did say it right. Maybe she's on side and she knows that those people have been terrorizing their own citizens in the Donbass since 2014.
I doubt it. Yeah.
the media issue is allocation of resources primarily, and also working through what we mean by a public.
It has to be done.
We can create legal rights, we can create constitutional rights, but fundamentally, the real meat is in the provision of resources,
Thank you,
structures and
Taoiseach.
systems that give the desired outcome of access
Thank you,
to
Taoiseach.
childcare
Time is
places
up.
for everybody.
Thank you, Taoiseach. And later on, members, we have statements relating to the 3rd anniversary of Russia's full-scale invasion to Ukraine. So to mark that anniversary.
You know, I can't stand this. It's the new cope these days. Full-scale invasion. There was no full-scale invasion. There was 2,000 guys sent in, you know, and then 1 million built up by the border in Russia. That's not full-scale invasion.
No.
They'd be in there, and then it would be a full-scale invasion. Let's see.
Yeah. And what is a half-scale invasion? Okay, is it, or 3/4 scale invasion? Like 1/16 scale. What is it? A fucking model car? Like 1/16 scale invasion of Ukraine. Oh God.
I now call on members to rise in their places for 1 minute to mark the 3rd anniversary of the war in Ukraine.
In the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit.
I know, she sounded like a priest, didn't she?
Dear Lord, please bless President Zelensky. Fuck off. Is there no one in there who refused to fucking rise? Like,
No, not a one.
come on, somebody fart or something like.
This is what I was thinking. If I was elected, if I had run and I was elected, I'd have done that armpit fart thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Or start laughing or something, you know, just corpsing in the middle of the
Well, you
fucking-
have to do a fart sound because, see, the thing is that a few of these guys in here actually are human beings and have experienced humor sometime in their lives, and they will like laugh, you know. So
Thank you, members. And now we move to questions on promised legislation, and the usual is that please stick to your times, 1 minute and 1 minute's response. We'll
This
begin
gets
with
juicy.
Deputy Pearse Doherty.
Taoiseach, it's now over 4 weeks since I put to you serious claims about Michael Lowry's evidence to the Moriarty Tribunal. And so much for his huffing and puffing about coming before the Dáil and making a statement. We haven't heard a peep from him since. But he's one of yours, Taoiseach. He's a government-supporting TD, and one that you're going to great lengths to accommodate. So can I ask you, Taoiseach, did you ask him if he had 57 meetings in relation to the Doncaster deal, including here in Leinster House and in Doncaster Football Club? A deal that he swore to the tribunal that he had no involvement in. Did you ask him if he went to a rural farm in August 2002, as claimed by one of those present, to burn original documents pertaining to the deals that were at the heart of the Moriarty Tribunal investigations? And Taoiseach, has he explained to you how his accountant made 2 separate payments that originated in Gibraltar to the person who was arranging the Doncaster deal, payments that were never disclosed to the tribunal? Taoiseach, I'm going to continue to ask these questions and others until we have answers. He is one of yours. He's a government-supporting TD. Have you asked him even these questions in the last 4 weeks?
Thank you, Deputy Taoiseach. Before you respond, we're stopping the clock while I address the issue. In relation to this issue, just to clarify for you, Deputy, that Deputy Lowry has written to me. He has asked to make a statement, and I have requested further information, just so as you know that that's where it's at. Haven't received that information yet. We can start the clock again. Thank you, Taoiseach. Taoiseach. Deputies, Taoiseach to respond.
First of all, I understand what Deputy Doherty is at here. Deputy Michael Lowry is an independent TD. It's not one of ours.
Oh, fuck off.
Even the guys in the Dáil know that's bullshit.
Yeah. Can't even pretend, for Christ's sake.
Deputy...
We're going to move on.
No, but I'll say one
deputies.
thing. I'll just say one thing. You need to reflect. You need to reflect. And whilst a funeral happened this week, and I have great time for the victims and the wife and those who've lost a loved one, the truth is, though, that your party called somebody a patriot who murdered 5 innocent people in the bar and injured 16 more, and was involved in Derry Woods in the murder of a trainee Gardaí and a member of the Defence Forces. And
thank you.
No matter what Michael Lowry did,
thank you, Taoiseach.
It pales into
Thank you,
insignificance.
Taoiseach. Your time is up, Deputy Alan Kelly.
See, the truth is, right? Provisional IRA, absolute scumbags. And this guy they buried and called a patriot, absolute, one of the worst scumbags, right? But that doesn't fucking let you off, Mr. Martin. I think we can all fucking agree.
Yeah, it's fucking logical fallacy after. It's sophistry, like.
Yeah,
it's,
it's
cheap
too.
sophistry at that, like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this always amazes me. It's like, I've got no love for fucking Sinn Féin or any of them. But when does it stop? Like, we go like 200 years into the future and it's still being fucking dragged up, like, because, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, like, they were, what happened then? How were they formed? Wasn't it? They all took acid, wasn't it? I believe, even before it was invented. So they all took magic mushrooms, sat down in a field together and said, you know what we should do? We should make a government. And let's make sure that, we don't harm anybody in the process. Like, we're not going to, go to war and kill each other. We're not going to execute, British soldiers and people. None of that. Like, that's, these guys have clean hands, No, that's unfortunately, it's part of human nature. And it's how most countries are formed, especially if you're ruled by somebody else at the time, that you engage in a little bit of murder and mayhem because, it fucking works. It's as simple as that. So it's a bit rich for
Life
this.
is messy.
Yeah, it's a bit rich for this clown to be using that like logical fucking or illogical horseshit to say, well, you can't say anything because you're someone who you were affiliated to killed somebody. It's the same with this fucking refugee nonsense. But you can't stop the 5 million refugees coming into the country because my great grandfather emigrated 120 years ago. No, go fuck yourself. Like it's horseshit. It's pure and utter fucking horseshit. Like, but still, a lot of people fall for. Yeah, he's right. He's right. And there he's 10 minutes ago listening to him on fucking RTE. There he's saying, well, the people of Tipperary voted for Michael Lowry, and because he has a mandate, well, then we have to accept it. But now, in the next breath, it's like, although a lot of people voted for Sinn Féin, that doesn't matter because. Bick, whatever the fuck his name was, Byro or Bick McFarland, killed people and apparently was a bit of a kiddie fiddler as well. But I don't know how true that is. But
that's the first I've heard of that.
Yeah.
This gets juicier anyway.
Of your movement,
Thank you.
Please, no. I would ask you, Deputy Doherty, and I would ask Deputy MacDonald.
Deputy Alan Kelly. You're into Deputy Alan Kelly's time now, Taoiseach. I'd ask
Taoiseach, take your seat, please. Your time is up.
Deputy Alan Kelly. Deputies, please.
Taoiseach,
Deputy Kelly. Deputy Kelly, your clock is running down.
Taoiseach, how can you...
Taoiseach, you have... Taoiseach, please. Deputies.
You might stop the clock, young lady,
I'm not stopping the clock.
Okay.
You work away, Deputy, because
Right,
your time is limited.
Taoiseach, genuinely, how can you stand
no.
over...
I'm speaking now. There you go. Like, there's a zinger for your time is limited. You have 3 minutes. You've used 2 of those 3 minutes already. I'm not giving you any more time at all. Oh, fucking joke, like.
Yeah, I don't know why the fucking clock can't be stopped while order is fucking resumed. You know?
Yeah, they need to get with the times. They did that in rugby. They managed to, can't just let the clock run out immediately. It's not like they have anything else to be fucking doing after this anyway. We have lunch to attend across the road in one of those 4-star or fucking Michelin star restaurants. Just pause it. Let's, have an actual debate on fucking something for, 10 minutes instead of 2 minutes for your debate. It's not much of a debate, is it?
No,
if you've
there's
got 2
no
minutes.
debate at all.
Yeah, it's like you've got 2 minutes and then we're done. Now let's vote. Fuck it hell.
Taoiseach, you have... Taoiseach, please. Deputies.
You might stop the clock, young lady,
I'm not stopping the clock.
Okay.
You work away, Deputy, because
Right,
your time is limited.
Taoiseach, genuinely, how can you stand over people being taken into the Garda College in Templemore without being vetted? We have people now going into the Garda College towards the end of last year who have not been vetted. They're being trained. It costs a significant amount of money. They have access to all facilities, access to guns, access to armoury, access to a lot of information, and they are not vetted. This was done late last year in order to massage the figures for the intake of Gardaí last year. It was done in the very end of the year. Prior to this, all people who were going into Templemore had to be vetted. We have the ludicrous situation where those who passed everything to go in 2023 are still awaiting vetting and have decided not to join in Garda Síochána because it's taken so long. So how can you stand over the last intake not being vetted? We don't know if they'll ever become Garda.
Deputy, a little respect for the other members, Taoiseach.
Ah, fuck you.
In terms of the recruitment, the Gardaí, everyone in this House wants us to get more Gardaí as quickly as we possibly can, get them trained, get them out on the street to increase policing. I mean, that's the whole objective of people going into Templemore. The precise ranges...
Thanks for
you don't say!
Yeah.
He's just a master at fluff,
Yeah.
There's
Can you
a
imagine
little motor in
breakfast?
his head that he winds up and then he just comes out with fluff.
Yeah, it's just stating the obvious, like, well, it's breakfast time. Like, the whole purpose of breakfast time is to satisfy a hunger.
You're nourished.
8
throughout
hours
the day.
sleep and the boiling of the egg. The whole point of the egg is to place in the pot, and the whole point of the pot is to hold the egg.
Don't
the
get
water.
me started where eggs come from.
Yes, and the eggs. Jesus Christ, like that's another. We don't have only 2 minutes, so we can't go into the eggs. But the water that goes into the pot, that's the purpose of water is to fill the pot, and the purpose of the egg is to go in the water, and the purpose of the egg is to nourish the human. I think that answers the question. No, I've already forgot what the question was. Guard of vetting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Potentially dangerous people with access to guns.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fucking bad enough with the ones who were already vetted. and for Alan Kelly, for the Labour Party to be raising a point about vetting, like talk about a neck like a jockey's bollocks. The same people who 2 years ago when people were saying, do you think we should vet all these refugees? No, we couldn't do that. Like, that's inhuman. What do you mean by vetting? Like, what? Nobody's vetted. Your next door neighbor isn't vetted. Why should you vet refugees? I don't know. Maybe some of them, even 1% of them, might be violent criminals, and may come from cultures where it's okay to rape, and they might be a bit stabby. So if we can just check that in advance, just as a precautionary measure in case something bad happens. But no, we couldn't get a grasp around vetting then. But now, apparently, it's an issue for the Labour Party that, well, at least we have to vet the guards. But like Michael's saying, nobody wants to be a guard. And we know really there's a fine line between a life of crime, a life of street crime and a life of state crime. So it's either you become part of a criminal gang or you become a member of the Garda Síochána. Like, so they've just done away with the paperwork now. It's like, okay, like, you know,
Yeah.
okay, you might have some previous convictions, but it's okay. You know, the things you will do once you're in the Guards will far outweigh any petty crime you've committed already. So let's just do away with the whole vetting process altogether. Especially if you're, you know, if your skin happens to be off-white, well then, you know, come on. We wouldn't want to insult you by inquiring into your past, you know. Fucking beggars belief. What's you got to say anyway? Why can't we vet, or why haven't we been vetting members of the saintly Garda Síochána? Fuck.
Let's hear Michaél Martin out here.
Just to get more Gardaí as quickly as we possibly can, get them trained, get them out on the street to increase policing. I mean, that's the whole objective of people going to Templemore. The precise arrangements, I'll engage with the Minister for Justice. I'll raise the issue that you've raised with me, and I'll ask the Minister for Justice to resign.
Thank you, Taoiseach.
My honest view, I think vetting is important, but
The
it's
Social
overstated.
Democrats, please.
Overstated.
It's overstated.
What does it even mean? Well, I mean, you said it's important, so it obviously means something.
What does it even mean?
Word
Fuck it.
salad.
Yeah. Fuck it. Like, you know, it's overstated. Like, come on. Nobody really fucking cares. It's just a formality, like, you know. And if I'm totally honest, we haven't even been doing it for the last 10 fucking years. Like, let's be honest, like, we just say it, but we don't actually do it. It's like, you know, okay, do you have an IQ, a double-digit IQ? Yes, you're in. Are you willing to follow orders? Yes, okay. That's, you know, second box checked. Do you have a conscience? No. Oh, excellent. You might make detective within a year. And that's it. It's like, come on in. You don't even have to be fucking tall or fit or any of that anymore. It's like, that's how desperate they are. And that's a good sign, because, you know, most normal, decent people wouldn't go near the fucking force with a barge pole, you know. So the last batch of recruits, it's the old guys, isn't it? So they couldn't get anybody, you know, any young, fit people into the force. So they raised the age limit to 49. So we now have a bunch of decrepit fuckers who are being pushed onto the streets. And this new round is that they're recruiting from the refugees, the asylum seekers and the refugees. And again, he may be right. It may be what use is worth anyway. We don't know who they are to begin with. There's no record of them anyway. So what's the point in vetting people who we haven't already vetted and can't vet and refuse to vet? They probably got, what, 2 people working in the vetting section of Garda Síochána.
Yeah.
But everyone else gets vetted. Like if you work with children, you can't do that until you get vetted, you know. And they outsource that to other people, you know, to do it on their behalf. So yeah, it's desperation stakes. To me, it's proof positive that, you know, they can't find anybody to go into the force, because you'd have to be fucking mentally insane to.
It's fallen apart. You know, that the fact that they had to basically relax these standards is not a good sign. Like, I can't overstate how fucking much in trouble this country is on so many levels. Shall we hear him out?
Yeah, let's hear him out.
This gets good.
Thank you.
It's quite limited actually what it does. But by God, there's backlogs everywhere.
Deputy Sinead Gibney.
Backlogs
It's everywhere. Yeah,
Respect for your colleague whose time you're taking up. Deputy Sinead Gibney.
Taoiseach, please stop behaving like a child.
Deputy Gibney.
Taoiseach.
This back and forth. It's not out of order. When I hit the bell, I have to
I'll bait the bollocks out of you. Get over here.
I love this woman. I really do. She's amazing.
When I hit the bell, I ask you to resume your seat when your time is up. Deputy Sinead Gibney.
Taoiseach, matter.
Well, then don't do it. Deputy
Taoiseach.
Sinead Gibney.
Taoiseach, the multinational tech company
I haven't yet, but what we seem to have this morning is a playground. So I ask everybody to conform and have respect for the members whose time you're taking up. Deputy Sinead Gibney.
Taoiseach, the multinational tech company Meta has announced a new round of layoffs with 5% of its workforce now under threat. And this
That's
is,
a
of course, in
dude.
the context of
It's a
the
fucking tranny.
It's
Jeffrey
getting hard
Dahmer,
to
like,
tell, isn't it?
fucking lad.
Holy shit!
And then, like, take away that long hair. That's Jeffrey fucking Dahmer right there. Yeah, it's a fucking another embarrassment. Like, should we backlog everywhere? Backlogs everywhere. Fucking can't get people sorted in the hospital.
Yeah, the
You know?
NCT and
Yeah, no builders
yeah.
licenses. Should we need to import more people to sort out the backlogs, and the backlogs of the backlogs of the backlogs.
Yeah, the building the houses and then yeah. So are you telling me that builders need to be licensed and they're not licensing them fast enough because there's not enough people working in the office where they get licensed? This is clown town, man.
Yeah, it's fucking it's a joke, for Christ's sake. How many people are involved in by the state? Like, it's 600,000-700,000 fucking people in the country. What the fuck are they doing? Seriously, like, what are they doing? Like, somebody must be doing fucking something somewhere. Like,
1 in 6 people, right?
yeah, it's something ridiculous. Like, and that's directly, like, so indirectly, there's probably like 6 people working in fucking private industry in Ireland, like, and their jobs will be gone in fucking 10 years because everything's going to be automated anyway. Like, so again, what we're going to do with all these excess people who have you noticed now how they're shifting the narrative to it's now about demographics. So they're shifting to the, oh well, Paddy's not fucking enough women and having enough children. So
yeah,
it's now that's why we're bringing them in.
That's finally coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because everything else is just wearing thin. Like, so it's like, okay, yeah, so yeah, it's like you guys were saying, it's population replaced, but it's not. It's just demographic shift.
It's a good replacement.
Yeah, you know, we can't say replacement because, you know, people understand what that means, and because Paddy's fucking dopey. So if we say it's a demographic shift, or there's a demographic problem, and then it's in case you get too worried, it's not just Ireland; it's the whole of Europe, and we're in this together. So don't worry, Europe will be brown. The future is beige.